my name is Linda Snow. I'm currently the open source and big data manager for the distribution market in the East. And I am very proud and excited to be here today with these wonderful interns who have spent their summer creating a demo to satisfy an assignment that we gave them. The assignment was to come up with a demo that could be used not only locally in North America, but worldwide, that could be used across industry, everyone could relate to, and would leverage some really cool technologies like open source, Spark, data science experience, some of the Bluemix services, and data from multiple sources. So not only the data that a company currently has within its walls, and under its control, but external data like Twitter or weather. So with that, just to set the stage, you all are execs at HBO in the communications industry. But again, use your imaginations, think about what we're doing. We're making a prediction. And in that prediction could be basically changed to any other industry or any other use cases within a particular company, like HBO. So, that all said, I'm going to start this, turn this over to Alyssa, the sales rep, and they're going to go into role and deliver the demo again, like we said. Take it away, Alyssa. Over to you.
Thanks, Linda. I'm Alyssa Bergman, and I'm a sales intern this summer working with Chinar Patel. And we also have Erica Braction, who is our web developer, Matt Rubin, our business analyst, and Sarada Hogan, our data scientist. And they are technical interns working with Linda Snow and Bill Abernathy. And we are so excited to show you our final prediction for who will be the ruler of the Iron Throne. So first I'm going to go through your current system that we discussed last week, and then I'm going to compare that to our proposed solution and how that can help you lower costs and gain greater insights. And then Matt is going to go through a whiteboard of our solution and give you a visual for that. And then Erica and Sarada are going to go through the demo, show you our web application, and our final prediction. So your current system is on premises, and you have an Oracle database. Data is input into SAS and then exported into Excel spreadsheets that your business analysts and data scientists need to analyze on their own. And this whole process takes 3 days because of this. So comparing this to our proposed solution, the process that now takes 3 days will only be a few hours. It's currently on premises and requires a ton of people, but if we go with our solution where we want to move it to cloud or hybrid cloud, you can lower your costs because it requires fewer people, and you can offload infrastructure costs and administration. Also, you're only taking data from a single source right now, which is your own Game of Thrones data, but we want to pull it from multiple data sets like Twitter, weather data, sentiment. So we'll show you how we incorporated Twitter into our own. And last, instead of having high licensing costs, you can leverage open source technologies and IBM managed services to help further lower costs. So now Matt is going to go through the whiteboard demo, and I will put on the slide for people that are on call.
Thank you, Alyssa. So I'm Matt Rubin, and I took the role as the business analyst for coming up with this solution. Like most solutions start, we found some data. So we got our data from Kaggle, just 3 CSV sheets, and we also took into account what the people were saying about the show on Twitter. Now, the differences in these data is that we have row and column structured data, and we also have unstructured data, like sources from Twitter. But you guys are HBO. Imagine this is blog posts, a fan blog or something like that, or even news sources talking about your show, reviewers. So as a business analyst, my initial thought was to put this data into Watson Analytics. The great thing about Watson Analytics is that if you've never used it before, you can use natural language processing, and it'll offer some insights immediately that can help you give some starting points to find some insights on your data. It's also good for data refinement, things like that. As a business analyst, I'm used to working in Excel. The great thing about Watson Analytics is that I can be a lot more productive, make a lot more charts in a lot shorter of time. It'll take me maybe 5 minutes if I'm good to come up with a pretty good visual in Excel. It'll take me 10 seconds to come up with 20 charts in Watson Analytics. So while in Watson Analytics, I got some visuals, and then I put them into a dashboard. this dashboard allows me to, I'm able to send this dashboard to a business executive so he's easily able to make a decision and he's not looking through all my visuals. It's all there in a storyboard fashion for him and he's able to make a quick decision. Now, since I had a data scientist, Sarita, on my team, we were also able to use the data science experience. Now, the data science experience, which everyone should sign up for, runs on Spark, an in-memory compute engine that can be used with any type of data. So, we used DashDB to store our initial data set, and you can access DashDB from the data science experience, or you could just import your data directly into it. Either one works fine. While DashDB, just to go back and mention, is our managed data service, runs on the cloud, and you can perform analytics on it. So while in DSX, we use the integrated R Studio, which is also integrated into DashDB as well. And that's where Sarita, our data scientist, came up with her code, manipulated the data that I sent to her, because the data science experience allows cross-collaboration between data scientists and the business analyst. So it's very easy for me to communicate with her what she needs to look into further. So while in RStudio, she used Plotly to come up with diagrams and charts, just like I did here in Watson Analytics. So our web developer could then visualize them through a Node.js service, and then she developed a web page to showcase our results to a business executive and to other customers as well. Now, the great thing about all of this is that it is run on our hybrid cloud development platform, Bluemix. So I'm now going to hand it over to Erica, our web developer, and she's going to show you guys the front page website that we came up with.
Thank you, Matt. So we have now showed you your guys' current system. We've proposed a new solution, and Matt just completed the whiteboard for that solution. I'm now going to show you the front-end web application. So originally, one of your requests was to make an interactive web application that could be viewed by your users as well as your executives. So here we have an interactive web front with all the characters. Since this is a very popular topic, we wanted to do something that was fun and appealed to all demographics. As you scroll over the characters, you can see that they each have a percent. This is the percent likelihood that they will be the next ruler of the Iron Throne. I'm now going to bring up our data scientist, Sarita, to tell you how she calculated this percentage for each character.
Thank you, Erica. So IBM offers the opportunity for a data analyst or a business analyst, a data scientist, and the end user to all see the same data in different ways. For this demo, I took the role of the data scientist, which is this route over here. This role was very interesting for me to take, considering that before this summer experience, I knew very little of what data science was as a whole. But using IBM learning tools, I was able to not only learn how to use like the cloud data service using Bluemix tutorials, but I was also able to learn behind the scenes what data science is. For example, in the statistical, mathematical, and programming background on how to actually perform the data science, data mining part. So I loaded all the data onto DashDB, which included the data sets that we got from Kaggle and the Twitter data that we got. And that data I was then able to access in different platforms since it was on the cloud. I could have just opened up RStudio in DashDB, but I chose to open up RStudio using the data science experience because since I had a business analyst, I was able to collaborate with him and share data and information back and forth. So I used the data science experience, and I loaded up RStudio in here. So after I got the insights from Matt my business analyst, I was able to narrow down which key points were important in order to create the algorithm. The key points that we ended up deciding on were like the number of allegiances per character, the wars that they won per family, whether they were a throne heir or not, the army size, whether they were supernatural, the amount of votes per family, if they were leading an army, and how popular they were on Twitter. I was able to make separate plots using Plotly that's integrated directly into RStudio. And this is beneficial because instead of saving an image and putting it on a website, my web developer could be able to just have like a direct access to this interactive graph that they can put on their page. So I'm able to just run my code to create a graph directly onto Plotly, and that's what we used for the web development. So after I created this new combined data table using the separate data sets, I then saved it back onto DashDB. And saving it back onto DashDB lets the web developer have access to DashDB, and also the business analyst have access to my new data set. So my business analyst could go ahead and put the data onto Watson Analytics. So this is just one data set that he's able to break down into by category depending on what he wants to see. For example, if he wants to see the values of the characters, which characters were supernatural, you can clearly see that the Night King, Bran Stark, Arya Stark, Jon Snow, and Khaleesi all have a supernatural influence. So he can pull up whichever information he would want to see using Watson Analytics. But we decided to go another route as well, where we were able to just use Plotly directly onto a website. And Erica is going to show you the rest of the graphs and how and who ended up being the winner of Westeros, the ruler of Westeros. So I'm going to let Erica come up.
Thank you, Sarita. Okay, now we're going to go back to the web application. So, as mentioned, there are plenty of ways to distribute the plots and show the different results. We have the dashboard that can be created in Watson Analytics. We have graphs that can be made on Plotly with a direct connection. You can just put them right on your Node.js, which will be put into a web application. Or we can go from RStudio, put the data back into DashDB, and then load that data directly into Node.js for real-time updates on this web front application. So Node.js is an open platform runtime environment that allows for a dynamic language JavaScript. So that is what allows us to scroll over these characters and have these values presented as they are updated by our data scientists. So this 4.22% is what we have for Tyrion Lannister right now, but next week another episode is going to come out and some of those factors that were discussed earlier will change. So when I click on Tyrion, we come up with this Plotly pie chart that shows that of his 4.22%, some of the factors that were mentioned earlier by Sarita, such as throne heir, contributes almost 50% to that, while 15 or 16% is based on his allegiances and Twitter. So other factors that didn't play into his percentage are wars won, supernatural, and leading, which is why we don't see any of their colors down here. This is shown for all characters. They each have their own pie charts and individual stats. And as we scroll down, I am now going to reveal the winner of the Iron Throne. Okay, so we can see here that Jon Snow is predicted to be the Iron Throne ruler as of right now. But as I mentioned, we can update this in real time as new shows come out. So what this plot shows is a compilation of all of those pie charts of the individual characters shown above. This can be very valuable. Right here we just show the names on the bottom for specifically Game of Thrones. But this could be used for you guys comparing maybe Netflix and Amazon Prime viewers. So if this was you guys, you could see where you were falling behind in a bigger company. Of course, you're right here because you're HBO. And we want to keep you up there. So you could use this information to see where you're lacking in certain criteria and use this to get your bar even higher. I'm going to now bring up Alyssa to conclude the rest of this meeting.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back and recap what we went through. So Matt talked about bringing in Twitter data or Excel data, loading that into DashDB, analyzing that in DSX, and then bring that to your front-end web application. And you can also load the same data into Watson Analytics, where we'll analyze that for you and bring up interactive graphs as well. So I went through the current system, mirror that to your proposed solution, how that can help you save money and gain greater insights. Matt went through the whiteboard, and Sarita and Erica showed you how we came up with our prediction and the overall demo. So we would love to get you started with a 30-day free trial of Bluemix, and our technical team would be around to help you understand how to use it and how that can help you in the future. And you can also sign up for a free trial of Watson Analytics as well and play around with that. So, what did you think? We want to give a huge thank you to Linda, Bill, Chinar, Dustin and Brian, and Rushi, Sarah McHale, and the whole DSX team for helping us get everything loaded into DSX.